Okay, so today we will be covering DNS over HTTPS and DNS over TLS, these two topics. So we will learn what is DOH, what is DOT, then which one can we use, how can we establish our own DOH and DOT. And then, of course, we will discuss some of the issues that there are with DOH, and we will see a demo of how we can install DOH in our local server. So let us start with. So suppose there is a client and a DNS resolver. So we already know that whatever queries we sent, that query is in plain text format in UDP. So whatever request I am sending and whatever response I am getting, this all, if any third party which is in the middle can see, and of course he can know your DNS query history. So it is something like in long back there used to be postcards. So in which it will be simple postcard in which at the back side you can write any message and on the front side you can write the address. So anyone, if if you are sending to someone else, anybody who is having a hand on the postcard, he can look at the message that you are sending. So similarly, here also is the case. Now, this kind of browsing history can be used for targeted advertising also, and for spamming also. So what is the solution to this? So the solution to this is somehow if we could encrypt the data that is going from the client to DNS resolver and back, then even if there is an adversary who is a man in the middle and looking at the traffic that is flowing from the client to DNS resolver, he could not make sense of what is the data flowing on the network. Now, to achieve this kind of security in which the communication channel, communication channel or the DNS, in this particular case, the DNS request response are encrypted, can be achieved with DOT, which is DNS over TLS, or DOH, which is DNS over HTTPS. So DNS over TLS is simple TLS encryption on top of UDP. So we know that TLS can be used for encrypting the data using the help of TLS certificate and symmetric key algorithms. So same TLS encryption can be used on top of UDP to hide the DNS request, or basically encrypt the DNS request and response. The detail of DOT is available in RFC 7858. So if we use this DNS over TLS, so we can say that the somehow we can avoid a man in the middle attack, and he won't be able to know the content of the DNS request or response. Now, one important part in this is that when we use any DOT server or DOS server, we do not query the authoritative server directly. So the client doesn't query the authoritative server directly. Rather, the DOT server in turn makes the traditional recursive queries. So we'll see the flow in a while. So DOT uses port 853, and so far as the support for DOT is there, so from Android 9 plus, means Pie onward, and iOS 14 plus, it is supported. And if you want to use it in Windows or Linux, you can use some packages which will be used for making query to a DOT server. DNS over HTTPS. So we already know that HTTPS uses TLS protocol for encrypting the HTTP request and response. So here the concept is that in the same HTTP request response, we can send the DNS queries as well. So DNS queries will also go over HTTPS connection in encrypted form. So usually the request and response will be in JSON format, and both get and post method can be used for retrieving a DNS response from the DOH server. And since it is working on HTTPS, it will use the usual port 443. The detail of DOH is there in RFC 8484. Now, similar to DOT, here also the client doesn't query authoritative server. Rather, it queries DOH server, and DOH server in turn makes the traditional recursive queries. The support for DNS over HTTPS is there in Android 9 Plus and iOS 14 Plus. The native support in Windows and Linux is coming, and support for DOH in Firefox is already there, but it is only available for currently, by default, it is available for two DOH servers. One is Cloudflare and one is NextDNS. But of course, you can add your own custom DOH server if you have any. Now, as far as others are concerned, there is always some or the other problem and debate whether DOH should be used or not. So sometimes the feature is available, sometimes it is not available. So some of the examples of DOH servers and DOT servers are doh.iref.in, which we have established. Then we have dns.google, and we also have cloudflare-dns.com. So during the demo part, I will show you how we can make queries to these servers and get response. So this will be the full flow. So we have a client, which is the browser, and then we have a DOT or DOH server. So the client will ask to DOT or DOH over a secure link, IP for www.cdac.in. Now, once it goes to a DOH server, it will start the traditional insecure request and response. So the next step will be similar to our usual query retrieval. So DOT DOH will connect to a root name server for .in. Then once it gets the .in name server IP, it will connect to .in name server and ask for cdac.in name server. And once it gets the cdac.in name server, it will connect to cdac.in and then ask for www.cdac.in. And once it gets the IP, finally it will return the IP to the client on a secure line. So remember, this part from client to DOT or DOH is secure, means it is encrypted, request response is encrypted, but the from DOT to this root server or the TLD server or CCTLD server or any authoritative server, it is the usual insecure request and response format. So this is the full flow, which is common for DOH and DOT. Okay, so now the question is, should we use DOH or not? So let us discuss some of the issues that are there with DOH and DOT. So one of DOH impact is on enterprise sector. So where system administrator use local DNS servers and DNS-based software to filter and monitor local traffic. So it is for preventing users from accessing non-work related site and malware domains. But with when the DNS protocol is encrypted, like in case of DOT or DOH, then an organization cannot use a DNS queries data. So like type of query or what is the response or where it is originating from, all those things, it cannot use to know if a user is trying to access some malicious domain And since they cannot figure out the type of the query that is originating, of course they cannot block or do any redirection on that. So that is the first issue, that enterprise security cannot do any DNS filtering. Now, second part is centralization of internet. So browser implementations, so like Firefox has implemented, Firefox is implemented DOS, and it is currently supporting for Cloudflare and NextDNS. So browser implementation can contribute to increased centralization of control on the internet. Basically, even Appnik recently said that the idea of sending DOS traffic to only certain DOS resolvers, because there are not much DOS resolver now, it is bad for the existing ecosystem of DNS server, and it is kind of centralizing the internet and directing all the traffics to only few of the DOS servers, which may be monopolizing the internet. Now, so it's not that DOS is replacing the existing ecosystem. So DOS just sits on top of the existing DNS system, and then it works. So it means that adding a third party when already a decentralized system of DNS query exists, it is not good for internet. Now, next part is that I also gave an example that if DNS query and response is encrypted, then some third party or any hacker or any intermediary man in the middle attacker may not be able to know what kind of data is getting sent over the network. But is it really so? Because even so, suppose that you are using a website via HTTP. So in that case, your ISP or whoever is the intermediary will still know what URL the user is accessing by simply looking at the HTTP request. Even if it is HTTPS website, the ISP will still know the site that the user is connecting, because some of the parts of HTTPS like SNI or OCSP connections, they are still unencrypted. And by seeing the server name indication, the ISP will know what sites are you browsing. So it doesn't matter whether you are using plain text DNS or whether you are using DOS. Of course, you can be tracked through IP. And once you use that IP to connect to a website, they can see the IP address. And from that IP address, they can clearly find out what website you are connecting to. In fact, there was a recent study in which it was said that by just looking at the IP address with 95% accuracy, we can know which website someone is surfing. So, so I mean to say that even with the DOS, there is no real privacy. Now, next part is weak cybersecurity. So, as I said earlier, that once the DNS protocol is encrypted, an organization can no longer use a DNS queries data like query type or response or originating IP, etc. to know if a user is trying to access a known bad domain, let alone trigger a blocking or redirecting action on it. So they cannot redirect it, they cannot block it, because they even cannot identify what are you surfing. So this kind of behavior is bad for cyber security. Now, next part is whoever advocates for DOS, they say that DOS can be used for censorship. So wherever some sites are blocked due to some reason, maybe some political reason even, so we can use DOS to bypass such kind of censorship. But actually, using DOH, you not only bypass the censorship, you also bypass legitimate block lists. So suppose child abuse websites are there, terrorism content are there, or some website with a stolen cryptographic copyrighted material is there, and you want uh, the your country or wherever your organization has put policy for that. But if you are using DOH or DOT, then they won't be able to filter out the request that is going on. Recently, Internet Watch Foundation is there, which is a group. They criticized both Google and Mozilla for this providing DOH, and because they are saying that these guys are ruining their years of work, and by providing a new method for accessing this illegal content, and now they cannot prevent people from using abusive content. In fact, on a funny side, in July, a UK ISP nominated Mozilla for an award of 2019 Internet Villain for its plan for supporting DOH. So that is the bypassing legitimate block lists. Now, many people said that in countries where people are oppressed, or you can say that in some countries where many of the websites are blocked, in those kind of countries we can use DOH or DOT for bypassing the DNS based filtering and access those kind of website. But the thing is that in this way, it will help the people living in those kind of oppressive countries. But um, just want to say, as I explained earlier, that DOH only hides DNS traffic, but still you got to connect to that website using IP address, and in that way also the filtering can be done. And so if you really want some kind of hiding of web traffic, so why not use VPN, which will hide your entire communication rather than only the DNS part. So VPN store may be used for hiding web traffic with DOH as an extra layer of protection. Okay, so those are the some issues that are there with the DOH or DOT. Now, next part is whether we should use DOH or DOT. So DOH, it uses TCP 443, whereas DOT uses TCP 853 port. And then in DOH, we can say that there is some extra privacy because your DNS traffic is like hidden inside the usual HTTPS traffic. So it is difficult to segregate and monitor or block the traffic. Whereas in DOT, of course, since it is working on a different port, of course, it can be monitored and blocked by the network administrator. Now, another thing is that who is supporting what. So some of the application, like I told you that iOS 14 onward only DOH or DOT is supported, and Android 9 onward it is available. Some of the application or some of the browser support DOH, some DOT. So those kind of cases are there. So depending on depending on the scenario of who supports what protocol, you can utilize one or the other. But of course, DOT is preferable due to the issues that I described with DOH. Now, DOH, DOT or DNSSEC. So DNSSEC is used for authoritative name server authentication. So it authenticates whether the request and response has originated from a certain authoritative name server or not. Whereas DOT and DOH is for the confidentiality of the request and response. So we can say in a way that DNSSEC is responsible for the endpoint authentication, whereas DOH and DOT is for the channel encryption. So DOH and DOT gives us the confidentiality, whereas DNSSEC gives you the integrity of the request response as well as the authentication of the authoritative name server. So basically DNSSEC and DOH and DOT, they do not compete with each other. They rather both together they will enhance the security. Now, that was the theoretical part. Now, coming on to the practical implementation of DOH and DOT. So, we will look at a DNSDist, one package which can be used for implementing DOH and DOT in Ubuntu. So, DNSDist is a package which is a load balancer. So, it's an application where you can add one or more recursive resolvers, and whenever request comes, it acts as a load balancer and sends some query to resolver 1, some queries to resolver 2, and some queries to resolver 3, and so on. So if incoming query rate is very high, so depending on the query per second set, it can also start dropping the packets by so thereby somewhat reducing the DOS denial of service attack. And in this, there is an inbuilt web server. Of course, since it is giving DNS over HTTP, so we assume that it has a web server. And the latest version 1.4.0 onward, it has been starting to support DOH and DOT. Earlier, it was just a load balancer. So how DNSDist works? So a client queries to DNSDist application, and DNSDist will send this query to some resolver. So like resolver 1, and once it gets the IP, it will return that IP to the client. Similarly, when a client sends next query, it will send to resolver 2 maybe, and then receive the response and forward it to the client. Or once it receives third query, and it sends it to resolver 3 for resolution, and once it gets the response, it will send it back to the client. So DNSDist is kind of your proxy which is sitting on behalf of these resolvers at one place and entertaining all the DNS requests from the client, and in the back end it is communicating with the resolvers on a load balancing method, and finally responding it back to the client. So we'll check the implementation part of DOH and DOT. Before that, is there any query? Can't we configure like this? The encryption should be there only from DOS to an authoritative server, not from the client to DOS server inside the network. So no, the aim is to encrypt the queries arising from the client, not from the DOS to the resolver. And while it is quite doable, but currently it is not supported. Can DNSDist act as a DNS resolver? Yes and no. So DNSDist doesn't have a recursive resolver. It actually connects to a recursive resolver and then resolve the query. So it by default it doesn't have inbuilt DNS resolver. But if you add a DNS resolver, of course it will act as a normal DNS resolver as well. You don't have to use only for DOH and DOT. DOS is not supported in Android 8. It is only supported Android 9 onward. Okay, then I will move on to our to my VM for the demonstration. Okay, so is my screen visible? Okay, fine. So we want to configure DOH and DOT. So for that, the first step is to install bind, because we also require one recursive resolver which will be sitting behind the DNSDist. If we do not want to install our own recursive resolver, then we can use any public recursive resolver like 8.8.8.8 or 223. Or quad 1.1.1.1 or 9.9.9.9. So we can use any. But for this demonstration purpose, I will be using my own recursive resolver. So I will install bind 9. Done. Next step is I require DNSDist to act as a DOH and DOT. So I will install DNSDist. Okay. Now, so next step is we will start with the configuration of DNSDist. So cat, the DNSDist configuration file is located in etc. So /etc DNSDist /DNSDist.conf. So this is the configuration file where I will be adding the configuration for the DNSDist. Sorry, nano. So first step is add local. So I am just asking the DNSDist to listen on a particular port. Now by default, DNSDist listen on the 53 port. And remember, I have a recursive resolver which is also listening on the 53 port. So there is a conflict. So to resolve this conflict, I am asking DNSDist to listen on 5300 port. So this is the first statement. Add local 0.0.0.0. It means that any IP and the listening port will be 5300. So this is the first step. Then second step is adding a ACL. So ACL is basically a list of IPs which will be able to query my DNSDist. So I am saying that any IP with any subnet 0.0.0.0/0 can be able to query my DOH. So for that, I have added the ACL 0.0.0.0/0. Now, next part is that I have to add recursive resolver to this DNSDist. because ultimately DNS dist doesn't have its own recursive resolver. It sends the query to another recursive resolver. It's a load balancer. So I will add a DNS resolver by new server, and then I will write address equal to 127.0.0.1. So because my recursive server is on my recursive resolver is on the same system, then I will add TLS. So add TLS local. Now, so one important point that I did not cover is that if you want to establish TLS or even HTTPS, you require TLS certificate. So without TLS certificate and key, which is a key pair, yesterday we saw in PKI, we generate public key and private key. Now this public key is here, there in the TLS certificate, and private keys will be in form of a key file. So we need to generate the public key and private key. So let me go back. So I will save it, exit, and I will go to /opt. And here I will run a command OpenSSL request -x509, which is the certificate format. Then the validity of 1 year. So I have written 365 days, and new key equal to new key is RSA. I'm using RSA 2048-bit key, and the key will be written in a file, suppose doh.local.key, and the certificate will be written inside doh.local.crt, some certificate. So this is the command for generating a TLS certificate. Of course, it is a self-signed certificate, and if you are deploying in a production environment, you should get a valid TLS certificate from any of the CA, or even you can get it free from like Let Us Encrypt or Zero SSL. So it will be generating a RSA key pair. So some information will be required. So like country name, state, and done. Now if I do ls, or let me ll, then I can see that there are two files, dos.local.crt and dos.local.key, which can be used for the TLS and HTTPS. So I will just change the permission of these certificate files for now to 777, and I will go back to our DNS dist. Okay, so now I am adding the TLS local. I have got my certificate. So TLS local, where will it be listening? First parameter is the listening port, so which is 0.0.0. Second parameter is the key file. So where is my key file? In OPT, and in OPT I have kept the name of the key as dos.local.key. And then the third part is the certificate file, and the certificate of the public key. So opt/dos.local.crt. So this is, I have added the TLS server. Then I need to add DOH. So for that, add DOH local. This is the function, and 0.0.0.0, it means it will listen on any internet address, and 443 port for HTTPS. And again, same thing, the key file and the certificate file. So opt/doh.local.key and opt/doh.local.crt. So this is done. And one last step, just for monitoring purpose, I will add a web server so that I could see what are the statistics on this DNS dist. So I will add a web server on the local host so that it is only accessible from the local host, and then I will set the password. And then third parameter is the API key. So this DNS dist, it also respond queries from REST services. So for that, the API key has to be written here. So if we use API key, we can query using the API provided by DNS dist. So this last line is just optional. I want to check through a web interface the queries, the statistics. So for that, I have added this. Let us save this, exit, and then we can check whether the DNS dist configuration is correct or not by running this DNS dist space -- checkconf. So you can see it says configuration DNS dist.conf is okay. Now let us restart. Oh, sorry. So first is the certificate file, and next is the key file. And our DNS dist services started. If I want to check the status, I can put systemctl status DNS dist. So you can see that it says that DNS dist, it is a DNS load balancer, and it is loaded and active. So my DNS dist is ready, but how do I verify whether it is really working or not? So let us see that. So for that, I will use one tool which is called DNS lookup. So snap install DNS lookup. So DNS lookup is installed. Now I will use the command DNS lookup space whatever query I want to do. So like I want to do cdac.in, and then the next step is I will write the name of the server where I want to query. So my server name is dos.local. If you check the host name, it is dos.local. So I will use DNS lookup space www.cdac.in, and from where I want to query, so TLS colon dos.local. Now it will throw an error, but let us check this. So it is throwing an error that the certificate, basically it throws an error because the certificate is not valid. So we have used a self-signed certificate, which is not a valid certificate. So to avoid the certificate check, we will add verify equal to 0 at the starting of the command. So verify equal to 0, DNS lookup cdac.in TLS colon dos.local. So if it is working, it will give me a response. And yes, it has given me the response. Now same thing I can do with HTTPS also. HTTPS colon dos.local. And here also certificate validation I have disabled, because due to that, since it is a self-signed certificate, it will give error. Okay. Fine. So now if we want to avoid this certificate check, so we can use um, any of the DOH service which is available for free. So like we have dns.google. I think there is some problem with the DNS lookup tool. So okay, for now we will leave the DNS lookup tool and we'll move on to checking the UI. Now, so there are two things. If you want to configure DOH in your Mozilla Firefox, then you can go to um, uh, preferences, network settings, and then here you have enable DNS over HTTPS. Now, if you enable this, you will get the default Cloudflare and Next DNS. But of course, you can put your custom DNS, and here you can add like HTTPS colon DNS doh.iirf.in, something like that. So after that, whatever query you do in this browser will go through that DOH. Okay, let us check this, the interface of the DNS dist. Now, so you can see here is our, it's a load balancer. So you can add as many as recursive resolver here. So currently I have added only one recursive resolver, which is displayed here. And since I opened the, since I opened this interface, I have not done any query. So let me do some queries. And as soon as I do a query, you can see the query count is increasing here. So I can do it again for some other domain. And then the query will increase. The query count will increase. Okay, so dns.google is also working. And let us try doh.iirf.in. So from here also we are getting the response. Once more, I will try our own DOH. There may be some problem. And now this is also working. So So dos.local verify equal to 0 because the certificate is not signed, but for any DOS server where the certificate is valid, we do not need to write verify equal to 0. Now another method of verifying is through curl. So I can add curl hyphen hyphen dos hyphen url and the URL of the DOS server. So suppose dos.iiref.in, and then I can give the website that I want to access. So https://iiref.in. So in curl, I can specify what is the DOS URL using this command. And after that, I have to specify the site that I want to access. And it will resolve the site's name with the DOS provided here and then fetch that site. So I have got the response. So it means that the this method is also working. So these are some of the methods and configuration that we have seen. I will again iterate. So I have added a local listening port for DNS dist. Then I have added a ACL access control list that, and I have enabled for any IP that any IP can query this DNS dist load balancer. I have added a resolver. I can add more resolvers here. So I will just have to write like new server and then address equal to suppose 223.31.121.171, which is our public DNS server. So I can add like this. Now next step is adding DOT. So for DOT, I am specifying first parameter as which listening in address. So 0.0 is for everybody, then the certificate file, and then finally the key file. Similarly for DOH, the function is add DOH local and any address on 443 port, and then the certificate file, and then the key file, the same as TLS. And finally, optionally, I have added a web server for checking the parameters. So in the web server, I am giving the address where it will be listening, and then the password for logging onto that web server. Username can be anything, it doesn't matter. And then if we are going to use DNS dist APIs, so for that API key will be cdac@123. So that's all in the configuration part. Save it, exit, restart. And once restarted, if I go here, you can see here now one more server has been added. So one is the server which is working on the local host, and another one which is working on our public DNS server. Now I can start sending queries. And so on. So if you can, so you can see that the queries will start increasing. Now second server, it is currently not accessible. I think I have written the wrong IP, but of course you can give any IP. You can give even 8.8.8.8, and it will start sending queries to that. So that's all from my side on DOH and DOT configuration and demonstration. Now, 1 minute, I have a request. In the meanwhile, if you have any query, you can type. So why are we able to see the query answers in plain text even we are using a certificate? because ultimately at the client side the response will be decrypted, then only you can see the response. If it is in encrypted form, how will your browser connect to the actual website? So the encryption is only on the channel, not at the endpoints. Okay, that is one question. As you have disabled certificate check, we are able to see the query name. Am I correct? No, you are not correct. I have only disabled the certificate check, but the request response is still encrypted. But since I am a client, so at the client end, always we will see the final plain text response. But if you have a like Wireshark and you check it on the network, it will be always in encrypted form. It's like https google.com. So when your browser opens, it is totally visible to everybody. But whenever someone on the network probes and checks the traffic, it will always show as encrypted, and payload will never be shown. So my next request is that you will all have received a feedback link in your email address. So I request you all to take some time and fill in the feedback form before we proceed to the next session. Okay, so question is there any way for administrator to see the queries with DOT setup? Yes, of course. So one way is that on the load balancer, it's a web service. So there we can see the what are the queries. Second is you can set up query logging in your DNS server, because if you remember this image, I will just share again. So if you remember this image, so the communication from client to DNS disk, that is encrypted. But of course, client can see it, DNS disk can see it, and all these resolvers, if they have enabled query logging, they can also see what is the query that is coming to them, because this is insecure. So if you have enabled query logging at resolver 1, 2, or 3, of course you can see where it is originating. But for these what are the queries? But where it is originating for this resolver 1, 2, and 3, the originator is the DNS disk. It won't be the actual IP of the client. That is the good thing. But yeah, you can know what is the query that is coming.